And that's something that Rogue are going to use their advantage. They got Taroko for the ones. I've got to lean Rogue here because this is the group of subs. You know, a lot of teams bringing in subs players, and I think Rogue have just adapted better to their substitutes, Zanil, than Ankaa have, bringing in actually a full team of subs. You know, Suspect, Twiz, tell him. Their individual teams in RLCS, all looking very good, but together they've yet to click.
But they are going to improve as this tournament goes on, and I'm sure the 3v3 is where we'll see that the most as Twiz charges down that 2v2 main Zanil so quickly. I love this crew battles format. There's so much growth each and every series as it goes along. A quick fire start in the 3v3 sees Ankaa with plenty of pressure. Gyro for Rogue coming in. Gyro, who just looked happy to be there on this stage. I believe it's his first land since Season 8, and he was loving it waving to the crowd.
Oh, it was awesome to see Gyro, former LAN champion, DreamHack Montreal 2019, and he's using a lot of that experience in these kind of settings. He knows that it's important to just enjoy yourself, and we've seen that more than ever this season of RLCS. With so many young players, so many young teams. I thought Suspect's got a 1v1 play, but the ball gets away from him. So Neil deflects 6 safely into the back corner. A decent start here for Ankaa, though. They're looking quick, looking deadly. We all know what damage MENA teams can do with the 50-50s. Phoenix, everywhere you look in this region, we've been spotting them on the way from the hotel to the venue every single day here. Just Phoenix all over the place. That's a great demo. That's an open net, and it's Tellum with the opening goal for Ankaa.
The style as well, just slamming those brakes, the ball goes in. And what I'm loving about Ankaa so far is that team synergy is pretty much there. Every time one of them has the ball and a chance to go for a solo player or an air dribble, his teammates are driving around him and creating space, going for bumps or demos, or even teeing them up for some more of these air dribbles. So any slow starts they had yesterday, they lost 5-0 to Heat in the 3v3. Those days are well and truly behind them based on the start as Gyro comes in, but can't quite put it away, and Rogue have had 1 or 2 misplays so far, which is letting Ankaa come in, getting more and more pressure, but Rogue survived this attack.
It's a much more confident opening game from Ankaa. They nervously fell to a disastrous scoreline, like you mentioned, 5-0 versus Heat in their first stage game. So far, significantly better performance. It's the off-the-ball plays. Tellum's looking to get back to this. He doesn't have to. Twiz stuck around after the demo. That's the second goal this game, where Twiz has just gone for the demo on third and left it open for his teammate. This time it comes right back to him.
Pure pace is all there from Tellum to get that second touch over the top of Gyro, who to me is standing out a little bit as somebody they are targeting in defense. Ankaa seem to definitely have the pace of this game in the palm of their hands. Tellum goes into that one with Gyro, and Rogue, you know, we want to see more from them. They did have that great start against Team Secret, beating them 3-1. It was a nervy beginning in the 3v3, beating them 1-0 in overtime. So we've shown that they can dig deep and fight through. But they need to show a lot more than they are right now, because Ankaa, they look by far and away the better team in the opening 2 minutes.
They really do, and this is amazing to see. You know, we only saw 2 3v3 games from them yesterday. The first was a 5-0 thrashing against them. The second one did go to overtime against the same team. So looks like that second game is more of an indication of what to expect from these players who, like we mentioned, have got good results individually on their separate rosters. Suspect from Kings Esports, Twiz, going to be at World's Wildcard with Veloce. Tell him he's the guy who's been with Ankaa with lots of different rosters throughout the season. He's always been the star player for that team. And, I'm sure we're going to see 2v2 from him at some point. I think either one of these teams are going to pick 2s if we go into that, which we will after the opening game here.
That's a much better passage of play here from Rogue. They're starting to find each other. It's Rogue who wants to put that one into the top corner, not quite able to, and more great defending from Ankaa. But in the end, they do both charge into the same ball. It's like double commit. It's going to give some space, but that space just ends up falling to Tellum. You can see him there, staring intently. And to get back into the play as soon as possible. Tellum again, but Zanil nips in. And Zanil is getting a lot more involved in this game. He's starting to be the man who's looking like he could be the difference for Rogue.
Yeah, not too much time left for Rogue. You know, it's a fine time to be working with, but given how difficult it's been for them to get past the midfield defensive line of Ankaa, 50-50 is not really a way through any of the Middle Eastern teams, so that sends them into the air, and with the speed that Ankaa have defended every single aerial offensive play, really makes it difficult for Rogue to find an opening. Passing play could be the way, but the shot's off the inside of the post, and follow-up is blocked well by Twiz, just lunging in the way.
Good charging down there from Twiz to keep Ankaa with this 2-0 lead, and now Tellum is going up to the sky. Twiz trying to beat him for pace, Taroko, but Taroko was there. A chance for the Zanil, if he can nip in here and do something with this ball. It's charged down again so quickly by Twiz. Ankaa showing they can defend as well as attack. Twiz up now. The pace that they're showing for these breaches is ridiculous, and it's going in off poor old Taroko.
Twiz with a ceiling double and a little bit of a dunk on the end of it as well. He's straight up to that and knew exactly where it's going and crushes Zanil on the back wall. 3-0. It was statement game here for Ankaa, who struggled in the opener yesterday.
I tell you what, I can't wait to see this Twiz guy at Worlds in the wild card. He looks like the best player on the pitch right now. A couple of massive saves, and then the pace to get up for that one, to really force the own goal from Taroko, who was the unlucky player in the wrong place at the wrong time. They want more as well. Ankaa really feeling it now. Any early heebie-jeebies just disappeared from them. Tell him almost gets done there, but Jared doesn't do it.
And, you know, don't forget, he's going to be playing at the World's Wildcard with certified land boy Senzo as Tellem rolls in another easy goal. Rogue really falling apart here. I think they know this one's over. It's going to be 2v2 up next, I imagine, unless Taroko's fancying his chances against, I think, Twiz, although I'm not 100% sure who's going to be playing the 1v1s for Ankaa here. I know Twiz usually kicks in around top 100, top 50 in ranked, so he'll be a tough matchup. I think very even matchup there for Taroko. Yeah, well played, Ankaa, in this game. This is a massive turnaround from yesterday. They had a thrashing against them and overtime, and now a comfortable win. So a bit of everything in the 3v3 so far this tournament.
You learn more from a loss than you do for a win. I think that's what Ankaa is showing off. You know, they really had to have that baptism of fire yesterday, and now they're showing how good they really are as the seconds tick down, but it's not going to matter. Ankaa have just pulled away from Rogue in pretty much every way. Sometimes you see a 4-0 and you think, oh yeah, you know, a 50-50 had it gone the other way, a boost steal had it gone the other way, it could have been so different. That was a genuine 4-0
yeah,
from a team who was superior.
They weren't counter-attacking an overextending team. They just kept pressuring Rogue the entire game, breaking them down, beating them to the ball, being stronger in the challenges, and just letting their mechanics do the talking. Really nice teamwork as well, though. You know, they weren't double committing all that often, and when they do double commit, they're so fast to recover, it doesn't really matter. So now the question is over to Rogue. What matchup do they choose? They didn't get to choose a matchup yesterday because they won the first match of the series against Team Secret. We don't know what they prefer. They've got Zanil, the twos specialist, and himself and Gyro were able to win yesterday in twos. They've got Taroko. He's undefeated in ones so far this weekend, 1-0. Could go either way here. I
mean, he absolutely smashed Knight for Team Secret yesterday. It was 10-4, and he was, I think, 5-0 up in about a minute. It was a complete dominant performance there from Taroko. So he's had some good experiences over here at Gamers8 in the 1v1 capacity. This is whether he backs himself to go up against his opponent.
I think, you know, against most teams, I think Rogue would pick twos because Taroko probably doesn't put himself up there with the very best in the world, and it's so difficult to hang with the gods of 1v1 these days. But I think versus Tellem Twiz Suspect, they could be thinking about 1v1 here, knowing that likewise they don't have a god tier ones player. They've got a very capable ones player in Twiz. You know, Tellem is, I think, probably very handy in the matchup as well because he's such a good twos player. But I'm very curious to see what Rogue pick here. I think if it was me, I would go with ones, but it is ones.
I thought I saw two things disappear, but it is the 1v1. Taroko, he backs himself against Tellem. Does that surprise you?
Yeah, I thought, you know, I wasn't 100% sure. I thought Twiz, but I know Tellem is very, very mechanical, and he's also very positional. He knows how to space opponents off the ball. He's, you know, an expert in 2v2, but unlike a lot of other twos goats, he is so mechanical. So this is going to be a banger of a matchup. I think I'm going to lean towards Taroko because we've seen what he can do so far this weekend in ones. He's shown up against Knight. Tellem could really send Ankaa into a phenomenal position here. If he can somehow win this, then I think Rogue are going to struggle to come back.
Well, so far Taroko is just trying to deal with the Ankaa danger, but he won't say no to that free goal.
Yeah, easy for Taroko there. Lovely pop over the goal. He knows that's not going to be an immediate threat, but it's an awkward ball. Tellem doesn't have any pace in the ball to work with there. He's got to generate all the power on the clear himself. You saw that when he went for the dodge to clear the ball, he ended up missing it. You know, if Taroko hits that ball harder, then all Tellem has to do is get a glancing blow. So lovely little lob by Taroko into an awkward position to get the opening goal.
He's got that save as well there from his own back wall. Tell him to go around, get this boost, but that's good play from Taroko, just going for the quick, easy shot, and that's what Taroko does so well, the simple stuff to perfection.
Yeah, bang from Taroko in the back corner. Absolutely no time wasted there. Confident open net across the field. Tellem leaning back in his chair there, thinking, uh-oh, maybe this isn't going to go as well as I hoped. But we don't get to see another look at this 1v1 matchup in the group stage. Don't think we will throughout the tournament again. You know, stylistically, Taroko seems to be quite comfortable right now. tends to be the very aerial mechanical players that give him problems. With the grounded guys he can hang with. That's a fantastic save by Tellum, though. It looked like Taroko's going to go up by 3.
It was a great recovery from Tellum. Looked like he wasn't able to get the flick, and now he has the chance to control it, but look how easily Taroko reads what Tellum's going to do. Couple of little bites at the opponent from Taroko. Wants to get Tellum out the way, but Tellum manages to avoid this one and get the ball with some control and some boost in the center of the field now. Charging forward. Does he go for the bump? Yes, he does. Taroko somehow still manages to get away from it, and that was a horrible position for Taroko to be in.
That was honestly quite a good bump, but Taroko is defending brilliantly. He's going to get back for another 50 here. Triple save from Taroko. Air dribble bump, high flick, and then the recovery to block the following shot. And there's no way that Tellum's getting back for that one. He really went completely all in there, thinking that the third shot would be the good one. But Taroko just standing strong against every kind of attack.
Taroko is just an absolute robot. He always does the right thing. He is laser focused on doing what he needs to do to just block these more mechanical players up against him. And Tellum is, you know, it's only 3 goals in a 1v1. It's not too much, but he's looking like he's maybe starting to get a little bit frustrated here. He does go up again. Taroko with more brilliant defending. Tellum, can he squeeze this one in? Taroko no stays grounded for so long. And Tellum had committed, and this is going to be 4.
Yeah, Tellum's just not playing the way that I think most players beat Taroko. You know, whenever I've seen Taroko struggle, it's against players who aerial with flip resets every single attack. You know, Taroko's ground game and his defense is phenomenal, and you've got to get him out of that comfort zone. Tellum is not doing that right now. He had the option to go for a wall play there. Instead, cut in field and once again struggles to get the ball past Canadian pro.
And he's more than capable of doing that as well, Tellum. He can do whatever he wants on the pitch. Just choosing to stay down low and play Taroko's game. Taroko will say thank you very much. 4 goals now the lead. We have had comebacks from here, plenty of them at 4. Tellum in the air, he wants to get over the top of Taroko, but again, opts to go to the floor, and Taroko is just not falling for it. Maybe he can get this one over Tellum, but Tellum has the ball control now.
Yeah, Tellum kind of let the ball get away from him there. It wasn't a perfect setup with a reset. This is his best chance of the game, and again, Taroko dives in the way of it. Tellum not reading Taroko's position very well, and Taroko's up 5-0. He looks so comfortable in 1v1, making this pick look like a genius move by Rogue.
I mean, this is the same thing that happened tonight, yesterday night. He was trying to go to the sky, he was trying to stay down low. Nothing was working against Taroko. And I mean, when you're a mechanical player, it's one thing to do it online, but when you're on a stage and you're up against someone who is just consistent and will block you every step of the way, that pressure can really begin to make you struggle.
Yeah, these are very strong positions for Tellum. He looks like he will finally get one through. Opened up an angle with the dribble here that really compromised Taroko's position, who couldn't get close to the ball before the shot was being threatened. Tellum quickly converts his first goal of the game. Unless he keeps up that kind of clinical finishing, there's not going to be a chance to come back against the efficient Taroko.
I mean, Ankaa did have that 5 or 6 goal comeback against him in 2v2 yesterday from Heat, so Tellum is going to have to look at that and be inspired, but Taroko is still having control. That's a good save there from Tellum. He gets some boost and get himself back on the ball. He's got the 100. Taroko should have that in a relatively safe place, as long as nobody dives in too aggressively. Tellum thought about it, but wisely turned back just to get some neutral play. Time is relatively on his side right now, especially if he can get one hit, but Taroko with more brilliant defending. He can block it from the sky as well, Johnny, and he's going to score.
Yeah, Tellum is like, he's tried the correct thing here. You know, he's transitioned to more of an aerial game. I think that's, you know, the right way to play against Taroko, but the execution's fallen apart. You know, that was somewhere between an air dribble demo and just a direct shot on target. It was neither in perfection. I think that's been the issue for Tellum. He's just barely losing control of the ball with his air dribbles right now. He's not feeling comfortable right now in this matchup. He's had so many chances, but Taroko's saving pretty much all of them. Tellum, look at his slot, the near post shot. That's denied as well. The ever-elusive Taroko stays safe from every demo as he continues to defend and annoy Tellum for consistent time periods that, you know, many other players would fall apart.
Taroko's recoveries are so good as well. He always seems to land with his car facing the ball, so he can just carry on driving forwards and regain control. That's why he seems to be the recipient of the ball every time Tellum does have a shot. Can he do something different this time? Now again, Taroko is just reading everything that Tellum is doing, and he's stealing the boost as well. In the corner, can Tellum get round for a shot?
Okay.
Yes, he can. 1 minute, 4 goals.
Yeah, so Taroko, for the second time this game, knows that the demo is coming in the back corner, but Tellum still managed to get a trip on him. Even though Taroko jumped there, Tellum was able to slow down the landing of his opponent. He's winning so many kickoffs that he's still in this. You know, he's getting chances. That's the key to comebacks in ones, is getting kickoff possession. And there's certainly been enough of that, but even now that's going against Telem. Sirocco doesn't even have to score here. He just needs to play for the clock in the midfield. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to try and waste as much time as he can. He gets another goal with a mind game. And Telem with a little self-soothe there as he scratches his eye. I think he knows not only is the game over, but he's certainly been embarrassed in this 1v1.
Yeah, that might be the moment where any fight from Telem seems to just dissipate. And Sirocco is going to run away with it. 5 goals the difference now with 47 seconds left. And the way that goal went in, it's a painful one to concede. It was sort of, it was a mind game, but it wasn't a complete and utter fake. Half of that was Telem tripping himself up at the near post. Again, maybe a goal here will just give him slightly chance. But yeah, the body language, it doesn't look ideal. I think this one's gone.
That was Twiz looking on, thinking, okay, next, I'll go next. Next 1v1 if they've got one. I think we're going to see Twiz step in because Telem's given it a go here, but Sirocco is just so solid. He's very, very informed for this match. Clearly, he's been putting in the work to get back up to his best in 1v1. You know, more recently, online in show matches and tournaments, he didn't look at this level, so massive credit to him. He's really stepped up here. He's playing fantastic Rocket League.
And I mean, in this format as well, you're going to have a 1v1 powerhouse to stand a chance, as Telem can't quite get that one on target. You think of the teams that are favourites here. You know, you've got Dignitas, where you've got 2 players, plus Scrub, really, that are sort of top-level 1v1, as that one almost gets its way in. Falcons, of course. You got pretty much any of them are amazing. Anyway, the point I make is the top teams, they've all got great 1v1s. Sirocco can't get it in. Telem's having fun. That's what we want to see. We've got the backwards wave dashes coming out, but this one will be a point on that scoreboard to Rogue, 8-2.
Yeah, great pick there. Makes a lot of sense in this matchup. They know that Telem and Twiz, you know, they're definitely players who are willing to get into the 1v1 and give it a go, but they're not top tier 1s players. So Sirocco steps in and says, guys, I've got this. Doesn't matter who they put out against me. I'll handle it. So he's tied up the series for his team. They're going to re-go at 3v3. Can Telem get his head back level? You know, this is the interesting thing about 1v1 being picked so early, is now Telem's got to switch back to 3v3 mode after getting destroyed. He really demoralized. Every attack that he threw at Sirocco just got easily saved. Every time he tried to do something, Sirocco's like almost just looking at him thinking, why would you do that? I'm just going to take the ball and put it in your net just because you're out of position. So yeah, Sirocco doing what his team needed him to do. Stepping up big. Now, ball's in. Ankaa score, mainly Telem, you know, can he rebound? Can he go right back into that 3v3 game mode? But they dominated in the opening game of the series.
That also guarantees that we are going to have the 2v2, and after Telem was just not in the match at all there in the 1v1, I wonder if Suspect will be tapping on Twiz's shoulder saying, hey, get me involved in this
no
one.
way. No. Telem's going to come back for 2s, I guarantee it. It's going to be Telem Twiz, but I think if we do see another 1v1 from these guys in the tournament, after that from Telem, I really don't think he's going to fancy it again. I think he's going to say, Twiz, your turn. Listen, I've taken my go. Listen, I've done my punishment.
I've got Sirocco.
You get in the lobby. Who have they got up next? Actually, it would be Raziers if they make it to the next round. So yeah, Telem's going to say, listen, I want nothing to do with Raziers. Yeah. Twiz, that's your problem.
Yeah, Twiz, quickly go home and grind some 1v1s. I'm out the game. But the game will continue in this series, and it is 3v3, which was a little bit closer earlier on than the 1v1 was just now. It was Ankaa that managed to win it. They played really well in that 3v3. They have to make sure that after that 1v1 dominance from Rogue, they don't let themselves go within their shell too much. They play the same expansive Rocket League that they played in that first game, and they keep that synergy, keep that trust in each other, because they were the better team by a long way.
Yeah, that's a nice little confident play by Telem, less so by Twiz immediately afterwards. Really going to be looking at Telem and Ankaa under a microscope in this game, see how is the regain after that tough loss. So far, so good as they get right back to pressuring their opponents. That's a lovely first touch by Twiz. Whoa. Almost dunks in the rebound as well. He's left it open for Telem, who goes right through Rogue for 1-0.
The man you want to see score the goals as well, Telem. That's exactly what he needed to get himself back on fire and feeling it. Just a relatively simple finish, but he still had to put it away underneath the despairing dive of Gyro as well to give Ankaa a lead. And they're continuing the way they started game 1, looking like the better team in 3v3, keeping all the pressure, but passes, these little passes that they're getting the ball to each other in Rogue territory, and Rogue are really struggling chasing shadows.
Yeah, counterattacks have not really been threatened by Rogue. I think we're looking at a team that are playing very defensively right now, and you know what you want to pair up with a defensive lineup is just one player who's willing to linger upfield, looking for a redirect, being a passing opportunity. Oh, goal by Twiz. miss came through in the backboard. Rogue with a bit of a mistake, but Twiz was there to punish it.
There are about 4 passes as well, passing out of their own half. Ankaa right there. There was a lovely linking touch to send the ball to the Rogue territory. Then the assist from Tellem wasn't too bad either. He had a few decisions to make. You know, does he go solo? Does he put it to the side and try and go up the wall? Instead, he went for the quick pop onto the backboard. Of course, it was the right decision when you got finishing like that from Ankaa. They could go again here. Here's Twiz to get the flip reset. Oh, not quite. Taroko. He can just boot that ball away to buy his team some time.
Yeah, is it Taroko to the rescue for Rogue once again? Not yet. We see Tellem out playing his teammate there with a little bit of a floor pinch clear. It's going to give Rogue another opportunity, but there just doesn't seem to be any spark in their offense right now. There's no creativity. They just are so limited for options. Another attack grinds to a halt, and on the contrary, when you see Ankaa move forward, they have so many threats. They're threatening demos every single attack. There's the solo play threat, clearly. And like you mentioned, the passing plays have been a factor in this second 3v3 as well.
Here goes Suspect. His turn to take to the skies. Wants to get involved in the party. Knows that he probably won't be involved in the 2v2 when it comes to it. So wants to make his mark on this series. But it's been saved well. And Gyro now going down the right wing. This is where Rogue want the ball in Ankaa territory. But it's going to fall to Twiz. He's up. Can Taroko get there in time? He can't. Twiz keeps control of it. Gets the floor pinch. And I think Gyro is very grateful that Zanil was behind him.
I mean, where is the life from Rogue? Ankaa passing the ball around them right now, dusting them to every play. I mean, Rogue have got backboard and goal defended, but once again, no option lurking downfield. It's just a lob ball towards the net that's so easily defended by Ankaa, who move right back into offense. This Rogue need to step up in creativity here. I think they need somebody to do what Twiz was doing in game 1, just really getting active in the final third, being a nuisance to play against. Because, I mean, Rogue, they look like they're rotating well around each other, but they're not making life hard for Ankaa at all.
This is where they need a player like, I don't know, Aqua, who wasn't able to come, but he is the man they look forward to for making that change and being that burst of energy in the normal, everyday 3-3s that they play. But this is not that, and this sees them 2 minutes left to be able to get a couple of goals. They have to get something going, barely taking any shots for all the ball they've had in blue territory. Zanil, what can he do with it? That one's charged down by Twiz. Taroko to the backboard, but I think there'll be a player. No, there's no one defending it, so the backboard is a little bit empty here for Ankaa. Is the pass going to be there? No, it's not. Again, it's quite a loose touch, a loose pass that goes nowhere. Gyro's trying to pre-jump that. It's not working. Nothing is working for Rogue right now. Ankaa, this is... Their Game 1 performance was explosive. This is just pure professional.
Yeah, once again, the 50s for the MENA teams are just way too strong. There's just something in the water here. These guys are just simply built different. One 50-50 win, another 50-50 win, and a goal. Rogue probably thinking, what are we supposed to do? How are they just flipping into the ball better than we are?
I just want to see somebody just like try and take complete control of this ball for Rogue. Go solo 5 times in a row. Maybe it won't work for any of them, but the challenge game, it might fall to one of his teammates. It's just that they're not attempting anything beyond, as you say, Johnny, as Twiz sinks another beauty, basic rotations.
What a comeback by Ankaa. Tellem pops it off the corner wall into the middle. Twiz is right there for the reset double. They're making Rogue look like amateurs here. Second 4-0 lead in 3v3. I mean, you mentioned the lack of Aqua, but we're not talking about rookies here. We're not talking about players who haven't had success in RLCS Season X, who haven't had success in the 2021-22 season in North America. Taroko and Gyro have seen plenty. Zanil's one of the up-and-comers, but I'm thinking I've got to see more from Gyro here. Taroko, known as a defensive player. Zanil coming in, I'd say the same about him. Gyro, he's been that active player in the past. I've seen him really be a problem for other teams, but today, there's just not enough of that spark. There's not enough of that creativity and that aggression from Rogue. And I think Gyro's the best man for the job. He's got to just get up there, trust the 2 defensive rocks that he's got behind him to have him covered. Let's take a few more risks because Ankaa just they don't feel threatened right now. No. They're just comfortable.
And there's also no bumps, there's no demos, there's very little movement off the ball. This could be a chance though. Here's Zanil, but it's closed down really well again by the Ankaa player. Tell him, what can you do? From the skies, he goes to the backboard. Can he get the finish? Of course he can. Of course he can, Johnny.
Yeah, we saw the early challenge here from Gyro because he's probably worried about sitting back and getting bumped, but Tellem just goes over the top of him and slots the automatic rebound there from a tight angle. They've managed to one-up their 4-0 game 1 somehow, yet to concede against Rogue, and they've put 9 past them. A lot of talk about coming here to the Middle East and seeing the 2v2 and 1's expertise, but this is a 3's masterclass from 3 players who have just come together for this event itself.
And it will keep them in the event as well. So, I mean, it's early days here, but the crowd will come through the door as they did yesterday as the day goes on. 10 series of Rocket League just on the A stream, and this is only the second of those. So when this place is more full, you are going to see a whole load of people cheering for Ankaa if they can get one more game from this remaining 2. It's 2v2 up next, and do you back a big step up from Telem this time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we saw Telem slotting right back into 3s, no problem at all. After losing 8-2 in the 1v1, game 2, he just gets right back to it, just crushes it in 3s. I mean, all 3 of them, they look like a real unit here today, which is wonderful to see after the struggle they had getting swept down to the lower bracket in Group B yesterday in their opening series on stage, or on the B stream, I should say. What a regain from this team, showing real guts and determination in front of the home crowd. I think they win the 2v2. I really do. Even though Zanil stepped in here as a 2's expert for Rogue, I think Rogue just look outpaced. They look lifeless. And Gyro and Zanil were probably going up against Twiz and Telem here. I think they're outclassed mechanically. I think that Ankaa just looks so much more confident right now. Unless Rogue can really come up with something special, I don't see them winning the 3v3 either, if it does go to Game 5.
They need a complete reset, basically, Rogue. Going into the 2v2, even though, as you mentioned, Johnny Zanil, the 2v2 master, the man that was brought in for this precise moment with Rogue needing a game in the 2v2, this is where Zanil has to step up, and he will be with Gyro again. I mean, you were saying you wanted more from Gyro in the 3v3. Maybe this is the chance for Gyro to be forced to get more involved, to have to. And if they can get that, and they do somehow in the 2v2, then the 3v3 has a brand new version of Gyro, and Zanil feeling a lot more confident. So you can see how the momentum could quickly shift in this series, but the favorite in the 2v2, and of course the favorite in the series, has got to be Ankaa.
Yeah, nice little kickoff strat by Ankaa that's been shut down straight away by Gyro. Back right kickoff there from Ankaa. It's usually a surprise to see at that angle. Oh, that's a careless shot. Not really a threatening shot there at all. It's just a pass to a goalkeeper at best and complete conceded possession at worst. But once again, Gyro's able to come away, dispossessing his opponent, fakes off the goalkeeper. Telem just backed off here, manages to deflect it towards Twiz.
Not looking too troubled though, Ankaa, despite a couple of early pot shots here from Rogue and from Gyro in particular. I want to see a little bit more from his shooting, just taking that split second when he has it. You know, you're playing with a new play, you brought a sub in, maybe the communication isn't quite there, but you have to learn it pretty darn quick over the course of this 2v2. It's still Rogue with a lot more ball control, but Ankaa, when they do take a touch from that midfield, it does seem much more incisive. It seems that every clearance they make is a pass to a hopeful future attack.
It is worth mentioning, I think Zanil might just be having a bit of a, lack of confidence today, because we do have Taroko coming in here. We talked about Zanil as coming into this team as a 2's main. Well, no, maybe not 2's main, certainly a 3's main, but
I didn't even notice.
Expert, but yeah.
Do you know what? I was just, my brain was saying it's Zanil. Oh my goodness, yeah, okay.
We talked about him so much in this build-up, and it's, they mentioned by Gyro in the pre-match interview, they brought in a 2's expert, but after that really confident performance in 1s by Taroko, I'm not surprised to see him demand to be thrown in here. He's been the player for the team has looked himself today. He always defends in 3s. So, seeing Rogue in the back foot, not unusual for Taroko.
Well, here he is doing a bit of defending up against Telem. Twiz is coming in. That's a decent challenge there from Gyro. We'll tee up Taroko to beat Telem for pace. Good stuff. Now here is Gyro, wants to just squeeze this one into the corner, and Gyro definitely seems to be the sharpshooter of this new Rogue duo. Wants to be at the end of every pass and take these shots, but what a redirect that is onto the crossbar from Twiz. Lovely effort.
And a nice bump on the exit steals the boost away from Gyro. Taroko's going to try and buy Gyro some time here to pick up some small pads, which is happening off screen right now. And Rogue just looking to absorb this pressure. Ankaa piling on them. Oh, what a dunk! It's 1-0 Rogue. And Taroko continues to be a problem for Ankaa today. Telem, he must be getting flashbacks to the 1v1.
I love that reaction as well from Gyro. He turns to his teammates. There's all smiles, there's happiness from Rogue. These are the little moments in a series that can make a team begin to believe that they can get back into it. Just a simple goal, but it's one that Rogue will feel like, they really earned. It was the challenge game. It was a brave attack there from Taroko, and he's going again, wants to get a perfect 50-50 up against Telem. But Telem wins a couple, and now Gyro is heading back to his own goal. Can Twiz wrap himself around this one to get it towards the net? Not quite, but a demo comes in. Taroko should be able to respawn in time to help out Gyro in defense.
Yeah, it was a great play there by Telem to go past both Rogue players. The shot Proved to be just a bit too tough of an angle for Twiz to score. He's now lost control though. Made something off it though, landed on top of the incoming Rogue player, so backup plan successful. As tell him now look at the back pass, but it's intercepted.
Surely
and Taroko looks to roll in a second one, he does! He gets the first with a dunk, the second with an interception. Taroko is inside Tellum's head.
I feel like when Ankaa go to sleep tonight, they will have nightmares of the big, powerful octane of Taroko. He is just everywhere, charging everything down in these smaller games. He is the difference between these two teams. It's simple goals, it's good decision-making, it's solid 50-50s and challenges. You don't always have to score double flip resets. And Taroko's proving that time and time again. But Ankaa, they've got these mechanics. Twiz, he's going to leave this one to his teammate, but good speed again from Gyro. He stepped his game up. Now can he get the flick into the corner? He goes for it, almost over the top of Twiz. But Twiz, beautiful recovery to get not just one, not just two, but 3 touches, including the dunk.
This is something from Rogue, and really Taroko,
again,
the guy today with the 1v1 win and now 2 goals in the 2v2 that proved to be the difference. This is where that defensive strategy, the defensive lineup of Rogue's going to thrive, because Ankaa will be forced to overextend, they'll be forced to commit, and they don't look comfortable. Twiz now drives under the ball, trying to chip it up. Taroko's all over him. Taroko won't really be taking any risks here. He's just trying to knock more time off the clock, just like he did in 1v1. He's waiting for the overextensions, and unlike threes, you don't have that third man. When you overcommit, it's big problems for Ankaa.
A bit desperate as well, that attempt at the demo from Tellum. It never really seemed like Taroko was going to be in trouble. Taroko also stole a boost earlier, and since then, they've been pretty boost-starved of the Ankaa players. We're now in the last minute of this one, approaching a game 5. He's looking more and more at the likely outcome right here. Taroko with the snapshot. Again, not trying to be too clever. Doesn't have to go for the air dribble, just knows that booming it to the backboard, he can then get himself in the way with Gyro behind him just to take those few extra precious seconds off this clock. Ankaa needs something quick. Could this be it? No, again, Taroko somehow gets himself in the way. Tell him with an attempt. Can Twiz turn around? No, he can't. The pass isn't quite there despite the demo. And now it's Ankaa for whom nothing seems to be working.
They know they've got to just throw everything forward here. Ankaa leaving caution to the wind. This is not working. Rogue, solid at the back.
In each other's way.
They're going to pick up a third goal here as Ankaa try to force something. They just get in each other's way in the midst of the chaos. We're going to game 5 here. What a ridiculous situation. If you asked anyone in the Rocket League scene before this matchup started this weekend, okay, we're going into game 5. One of these teams has won both of the 3v3s, 4-0 and 5-0. Yep. The other team's won the 1v1 and the 2v2. Everybody would say, ah, well, it's probably the MENA team winning 1s and 2s. They can't play 3s. Only Falcons can play 3s, but it's the complete opposite. Ankaa show that they really can play 3s, but Rogue have got 1s and 2s on lock to a much, much higher level than they did in qualifying. Taroko with a big step up here today, getting his team into game 5 with the help of Gyro in the 2v2.
Okay, now is time for a really important team talk for Rogue, because yeah, you know, the first couple of 3v3s didn't go too well, but thanks to some brilliance from Taroko in particular, they have got themselves to a game 5, and game 5 always hits different. The pressure is extra. Both these teams are on elimination game. You know, perhaps their opponents, Ankaa, play a little bit more defensively. Perhaps they play differently. Perhaps Rogue get an early goal and gain some momentum. Anything can happen over these next 5 minutes, and Rogue, credit to them, they have made the most of this format. This is a great advert for crew battles right here. The fact that one individual has, you know, supplemented the 3v3s to bring his team, drag his team to this point.
Yeah, and you know, looking at how that 2v2 matchup went, I've got to think that...
That was the problem. That was the issue. It was a bit too high. Now it's lower. We got Zanil back.
Zanil's, he's in the right angle now, so he's just worry about the camera angle in game, out of game. So important. It really is a big deal, you know, playing in a different setup where there's just simply different distances to work with. But you know, I've got to give Taroko so much praise, because I think even if Twiz plays that 1v1, I don't think it matters. I think Taroko beats him today as well. He just looks in such great form for this event. You know, we heard from Gyro that they've really been practicing the 1s and 2s, and of course when he says that we've been practicing the 1s and 2s, he means probably Taroko's been practicing the 1s. I don't know, maybe they've all been switching it in and out, giving it a go, getting everybody involved.
Scribbing Taroko, playing certain play styles, you know, air dribble bump against me only, I'll learn to defend it.
Definitely.
Perhaps.
I mean, they've clearly prepped well for this. Taroko's ready for any game mode, but Ankaa have been by far the better 3s team today. 4-0 in game 1, 5-0 in game 2. Non-stop pressure, absolutely no danger from Rogue being presented. I think Gyro's got to step up, but it's Ankaa already. When I say Gyro step up, I just want to see him in the offensive half for no reason at one point in this game. get Ankaa thinking twice before advancing.
Yeah, go for the bumps as well, and that's what Gyro is doing. Look at him cutting across, leaving Zanil to head back. That is the Gyro that we want to see. And Rogue maybe just in the ascendancy right now. They have the belief, but Ankaa, they can turn that against them so quickly. Twiz beats Taroko to the ball there. Tellem is in there as well. Zanil with decent defending at that near post, but can he get control of the ball after? Yes, he can. Taroko's behind him. Gyro on the floor, Zanil over the top of one of them, wants to get the dunk on the second one, not quite able to do it, but this is a very different looking Rogue as far as 3v3s go.
Well, Ankaa have been flawless so far in threes, but how long can that continue? How many times can they lose to Taroko in another game mode before they do get tilted, before they start to doubt themselves? Rogue advancing. Once again, that's calm play on the backboard by Tellem, and Rogue are definitely stretching themselves here for shots that don't really look that likely to end up in the goal. They're kind of just clearing the ball across the box here, looking to starve the boost, but it didn't work out. Ankaa managing the boost very well.
Lovely play from Gyro there to get himself not just the first touch, but also plonked to that backboard. Able to clear it away now. That was all from that good first touch that he made earlier. Now we can try and tee up Taroko. Up against Tellem. Taroko with more good pace. The thorn in Ankaa's side since the start of this series. Zanil wants to get a second touch, not quite able to do it, so Suspect is going to come in. And Ankaa are just about starting to play their way into this one. Certainly a lot more even than it was in the first minute and a half.
Taroko's sent the ball forward once again. Every time he's touched the ball, it's gone far. Continues to intercept so often, and Gyro's looking for him in the infield now, but it's Twiz with the interception. Tellem flying after it, but Zanil will clear it on the backboard. Suddenly out of nowhere, it was the counterpunch from Ankaa that looked like a great chance.
Taroko's touch is not the one he wanted. He can only skim it along for Tellem to do some fakes in the air, get the flip reset. Gyro, who has stepped up so much in this series, got a really important touch there to see it away. I thought for sure that one was going to nestle into the back of the net, but now it's Zanil. Past one player, around the corner as well. Almost a demo there from, I think it was Gyro and one of the Ankaa players. He definitely is searching for these more, trying to affect and influence the Ankaa rotation. And I'm liking what I'm seeing from Rogue.
Big chance. Little half volley on target. Well timed by Zanil, but defended also. We're seeing defense from Ankaa. We didn't get a chance to appreciate their defensive rotation in the earlier 3v3 games. It's looking pretty solid, but the offense, nowhere to be seen compared to games number 1 and 3. That's a big chance. It's top corner from Gyro. 1-0 Rogue, their first goal in threes, but the most important one.
And a lovely finish as well. Tellem, just a bit of a missed touch. There was two goalkeepers though. Gyro was in so quickly. Had to sacrifice his car to get there, but it was more than worth it to give Rogue just a taste of making it through in this series. I mean, we were already talking about Ankaa playing later on in the event. It seemed that certain that Ankaa were going to take it, but Rogue have completely turned it on his head. Might get another here, but Suspect doing some good defending, and now Tellem can go solo.
He's being challenged early here. That's the correct play there from Gyro, just getting it out and stopping him immediately. And again, Taroko now takes his turn. They're challenging before the last second. They're not allowing Ankaa to just set up shop next to them, take their boost constantly. Zanil with a key pickup there. Otherwise, they would be stuck in defense for a while. Lovely manipulation on the challenge game there from Tellem, but once again, it goes nowhere. Rogue have completely revitalized their threes game.
Lovely play from Zanil as well. That charge down in the air, a great challenge, making it so that Ankaa are pinned back. Can they get that pass out? There's a fake there from Gyro to leave it to his teammate Zanil. A chance for Twiz. That one's going over onto the backboard, and Twiz then gets an extra touch. I'm not sure Ankaa needed him to get it. I think Suspect and Tellem were desperate for that ball, but not to be now. And here comes Zanil. Could sink it. He does sink it, and it's 2-0 to Rogue.
Zanil is here. He's had a quiet day watching Taroko and Gyro play the other game modes and sitting in defense, but now he moves forward and hits a confident shot in the top shelf. After all of Ankaa's work earlier on today, it doesn't matter what the aggregate scoreline in threes is. They trail by 2, and they've barely got more than a minute to work with.
What a turnaround this has been from Rogue, but Ankaa still have time to get themselves back into this game and maybe force an overtime. Tellem is going to have to do something with this ball, but Taroko again, so quick in the challenge. Means the Suspect has to just do everything he can to get it. He can. Gyro's already up, but he's been dodged by Suspect towards Tellem. This is a good play from Ankaa right now. Can they get the pass? The final touch they need? No, they can't, because who is there intercepting the passing opportunity? It has to be the Canadian on Rogue.
Taroko has been the difference in this matchup. What a comeback, what a performance from him. Every time Ankaa go ahead by miles in a 3v3 game. Taroko bounces back, but now here's a big chance for them. Suspect goes right through Gyro, but Taroko's there. He's wasting all the remaining time. Ankaa have got nowhere to go now. They just have to commit. It's into the middle, but it's saved by Gyro. That might be the game-winning clear.
Well played, Gyro. Just has to keep control of this ball. Just has to stay behind it. It doesn't matter if Tellem's coming in. The seconds they're disappearing, the chance is going. Ankaa, they had everything in their hands until Rogue showed how good they actually are. They are going to take this series by 3 games to 2. The Champions Field victors.